Every once in a while, I like to go what I call minimalist camping. It's basically the type of camping where you only take what is absolutely necessary to survive. It's definitely not for everyone, but I see it as a fun challenge. I mean, oftentimes I won't even take a tent, just a tarp to lay on the ground. I did exactly this over one June weekend. I was alone and in the middle of the forest. Now, it wasn't like a campsite. I usually try to stay away from those. I much prefer a completely uninhabited part of the forest. Usually what I'll do is park in some random spot on the side of this forest road. I'll then walk out at least a mile and camp where I'm stood. Or sometimes if I find a small body of water, I'll camp next to that. Anyway, it was the first night of this specific trip. By this point, it was already dark. I was laying down next to a fire I created with a small fire starter kit that I had brought when it started to rain. Now, again, I didn't have a tent. I would not be able to last the night in the rain. To make things worse, I checked the weather for the weekend the night before, and no rain was shown. I guess that just goes to show how inaccurate those predictions can be. It was only sprinkling, but I knew if it got worse, I'd just have to call the whole trip and go home. Of course, it did get worse. It started absolutely pouring out. And to make things even worse still, thunder and lightning both started going off nearby. So I packed up what little I had and started jogging back to my car through the dark forest, only lit by a dim flashlight I had in my hand and the occasional lightning flash. Fortunately, I made it back to my parked car relatively quickly. In order to see anything in front of me, I had to put the windshield wipers on their max setting. I had about 10 to 12 miles on this secluded and narrow 2-lane road in the forest with no streetlights before I would make it back to a main road. I was only about 2 miles in when I rounded a corner and saw a Subaru with a small trailer parked diagonally across the road. The way in which it was parked completely blocked me from getting by. I couldn't even go off the road to get around it because there were trees on either side. I wasn't able to see inside the car, so I turned on my high beams. This revealed a man slouched over in the driver's seat, his head uncomfortably resting on the steering wheel. From the looks of it, he was completely unconscious. Just then, lightning struck. The flash revealed another man just out of the view of my headlights. He was outside, laying face down on the road in some puddles. He too looked unconscious. An immediate sense of unease overwhelmed me. The scene was too perfect. I mean, the car and its trailer just so happened to block the entire road after a bad accident, and everyone involved became unconscious. I was seeing a lot of red flags. I had always heard stories of people playing dead in the middle of the road as a way to lure unsuspecting people out of their cars for some sinister purpose. I decided I wanted no part of this. I began reversing to find a spot where the trees gave me enough room to make a 3-point turn. My eyes kept darting back and forth from my rearview mirror to the Subaru. Just when I got back far enough, I turned my head back towards the Subaru one last time, and my blood ran cold. The man that was in the driver's seat and the man that was lying on the road were now both running full speed towards my car. Meanwhile, more men were jumping out of the trailer and proceeding to do the same. There had to have been at least 5 or 6 guys all running towards me. I was still completing the turn. When they got close enough, they started aggressively yanking on the door handles. But I had them locked. I threw it in drive and barreled out of there. I was forced to take a longer route back home. For that drive, I swear I had my eyes on the rearview mirror checking to see if I was being followed, more than I had them on the road in front of me. When I did get home and had a second to calm down, I called the police. Though they didn't find anyone or even anything matching the descriptions I gave. And I'm not sure anything's gonna come of it. I didn't get a license plate number, and it was too rainy to make out any facial features. Something I did take note of though, is from what I could see, they didn't have any weapons. Rather, they had stuff like ropes, handcuffs, and tape. You'd think people doing this would just want to rob you, and admittedly that's probably how it goes for most of these cases. But I truly believe this time was different. I don't know what they wanted to do, but something tells me it was worse than being robbed.